Imagine walking into your local bank, pulling up your mobile app, and seeing a perfectly intact $5,000 balance sitting safely in your savings account. You feel a sense of security, believing your hard-earned money is completely protected from risk. But there is an invisible thief operating right under your nose, slowly draining the true power of those dollars without changing the digital numbers on your screen. This silent killer is inflation, and it works by quietly eroding what your money can actually buy over time. Most people assume that keeping cash in a bank is the safest strategy for their financial future, but the reality is quite the opposite. While your nominal balance stays exactly the same, your real-world purchasing power is actively melting away day by day. It is the ultimate financial illusion, making you feel stable while quietly making you poorer with every single tick of the clock. To understand how this works in the real world, let's look at the classic grocery cart metaphor across a 20-year timeline. Imagine Maya walking into a supermarket in 2006 with a crisp $100 bill, filling her entire cart to the brim with essentials. 10 years later, in 2016, Maya returns to the exact same store with that same $100 bill, but her money only fills about half the basket. Fast forward to today, and that identical bill buys nothing more than a single bag of groceries containing a few meager items. The currency note itself did not change, and its physical design looks identical, but its underlying value has drastically deteriorated. This is the tangible reality of inflation. It is not that items are becoming inherently more valuable, but rather that the currency itself is losing its purchasing strength. Why does this financial phenomenon happen in the first place? Historically, money was tied to physical commodities, like gold, which naturally limited how much currency could exist in circulation. However, modern economies operate on fiat currency, which means money is backed entirely by public trust and government decree, rather than a physical asset. This gives central banks the extraordinary power to expand the money supply whenever the economy faces a crisis, effectively printing more capital out of thin air. When the total supply of money grows significantly faster than the actual production of real goods and services, every individual dollar in existence naturally becomes less rare and less valuable. Think of it like diluting a glass of juice with water. The more liquid you add, the weaker the actual flavor becomes. When trillions of new dollars enter global circulation, the purchasing power of your savings is systematically diluted. Governments track this steady erosion using an economic metric known as the Consumer Price Index, commonly abbreviated as the CPI. The CPI monitors a massive, representative basket of everyday goods and services, measuring how much prices rise for an average household over a specific period. Central banks around the globe generally aim for a steady annual inflation target of roughly 2%, claiming this low rate stimulates healthy economic growth by encouraging people to spend and invest rather than hoard cash. While a tiny 2% increase sounds completely harmless on an annual basis, the math becomes terrifying when compounded over a standard career or retirement horizon. At a seemingly gentle 2% annual rate, your money loses roughly half of its total purchasing power in just 35 years. A basket of goods that costs you $10,000 today will require nearly double down the road. The situation turns dangerous for the average person because household wages rarely keep pace with the real-world cost of living. Even if you receive a standard 2 or 3% annual raise from your employer, you are not actually building wealth or moving forward. You are simply running on a financial treadmill just to stay in the exact same place. If your annual income increases by 3%, While the real cost of rent, healthcare, food, and energy surges by 5%, your standard of living is actively declining, despite making more money on paper. This disparity creates a compounding trap that disproportionately penalizes savers and middle-class families who rely strictly on fixed salaries. Your hard work is effectively being taxed without your consent, as the structural value of your labor is quietly transferred away through the hidden mechanism of rising systemic prices. To survive this inevitable financial erosion, you must fundamentally change how you treat your wealth and step off the cash treadmill entirely. Defeating a silent money killer requires moving away from stagnant bank accounts and reallocating your capital into productive, inflation-resistant assets. Historically, investing in diversified equities, prime real estate, or scarce commodities allows your net worth to grow alongside or outpace the rate of currency dilution. These specific asset classes possess intrinsic value that naturally adjusts upward as consumer prices climb across the broader economy. While holding cash feels incredibly comfortable and safe in the short term, it guarantees a long-term loss of your real-world wealth and purchasing power. By transforming your depreciating currency into appreciating assets, you build a robust financial shield that protects your hard-earned labor, ensures your long-term independence, and safely preserves your true purchasing power for many decades to come.
As always, appreciate you hanging out today. See you in the next one.